I came home early one day to surprise my husband with his favorite dinner, only to find a note on the counter in my mom's handwriting. Meet me at our spot, 7 p.m. Don't tell her. My heart stopped. The her was me. My husband and my mom had a secret meeting place, a shared life I knew nothing about, and that note was the key to unraveling the deepest betrayal I'd ever faced. Let me start from the very beginning, because this isn't the kind of story that hits you all at once. It's a slow burn, a wound that festers before you even know you're bleeding. My name's Lauren, I'm 35, and I've been married to Ethan for 9 years. Ethan was my safe haven, the man who made me believe in love when I'd all but given up. We met at a friend's barbecue in Denver, where he was the quiet guy flipping burgers, cracking shy jokes that made me laugh harder than I had in years. He was steady, thoughtful, the kind of person who'd bring me soup when I was sick, who'd spend hours building bookshelves for our tiny apartment, who'd whisper promises of forever when we lay in bed at night. I thought I'd found my person, the one who'd never let me down. And my mom, Patricia? She was my North Star. At 58, she was a burst of warmth, chatty, creative, always ready with a story or a hug that made everything okay. She'd been my rock since I was a kid, especially after my dad passed when I was 10. Mom was the one who taught me how to ride a bike, who cheered loudest at my high school graduation, who helped me pick out my wedding dress while we laughed over champagne. She was my best friend, the person I called when life got heavy. The idea of her and Ethan betraying me? It was as absurd as the sun falling from the sky. We lived in a cozy house in Boulder, Colorado, with a view of the mountains that made every sunrise feel like a gift. Ethan worked as a software developer, often from home, tinkering with code in his cluttered office. I was a wedding planner, orchestrating dream days for couples while juggling schedules and vendors with a smile. Mom lived 20 minutes away, in a quirky little house she'd painted bright yellow, filled with her pottery projects and a garden that was more chaos than order. She'd come over for Sunday brunches, bringing her famous blueberry muffins and regaling us with tales of her latest art class or neighborhood drama. Ethan and Mom got along like old friends. He'd help her troubleshoot her ancient laptop, and she'd tease him about his nerdy sci-fi t-shirts. I loved watching them banter. It made me feel like our family was a perfect little circle, unbreakable. But looking back, I can see the cracks forming, subtle at first, like hairline fractures in glass. It started about 2 years ago, when Ethan began taking more work trips. He'd say he was meeting clients in Seattle or attending tech conferences in San Francisco. I didn't question it, his job was flexible, and I trusted him completely. Around the same time, Mom started being less available. She'd skip our usual thrift store outings, saying she was busy with her pottery studio or a new friend she'd met at a community center. When I'd ask about this friend, she'd smile vaguely and say, "Oh, just someone interesting," then steer the conversation elsewhere. I figured she was rediscovering herself, maybe even dating, and I was happy for her. She deserved joy after years of putting me first. The first hint something was wrong came about a year ago. Ethan's phone started lighting up at odd hours late at night, early in the morning. He'd glance at it, type a quick reply, and set it down, always face down. "Just work," he'd say if I asked, but his tone was clipped, like he was guarding something. Mom, too, was acting off. She'd show up to brunch distracted, checking her phone more than usual, her laughs a little forced. One day, I caught her texting under the table, her fingers moving fast, a small smile on her lips. "Who's got you so happy?" I teased. She flinched, tucking her phone away. "Oh, just a silly group chat," she said, but her cheeks were pink. I brushed it off, but a tiny seed of doubt took root. The real turning point came 6 months ago during a rough patch for me. My business was struggling, a big wedding got canceled, and I was scrambling to cover costs. Ethan was supportive, but distant, like his mind was somewhere else. Mom was there, bringing me tea and pep talks, but even she seemed preoccupied. One night, I found Ethan in his office, staring at his laptop, his face lit by the screen. I leaned over to kiss his cheek, and he slammed the laptop shut so fast I jumped. "Sorry, just a client thing," he mumbled, but his eyes wouldn't meet mine. I didn't push, but that seed of doubt grew a little bigger. Fast forward to a month ago. It was a Wednesday, and I'd had a rare slow day at work. I decided to surprise Ethan with his favorite dinner, lasagna and garlic bread, the kind we used to make on our early dates. I left the office early, humming as I pulled into the driveway. The house was quiet, Ethan's car gone. I figured he was at a coffee shop, working, so I started unloading groceries. That's when I saw it, a note on the kitchen counter in Mom's looping handwriting. "Meet me at our spot, 7 p.m. Don't tell her." My stomach dropped. The her was me. I read it again, my hands trembling, hoping I'd misunderstood. But there was no mistaking it. Ethan and Mom had a secret meeting place, a shared world I wasn't part of. I sat there, staring at the note, my mind racing. Part of me wanted to tear it up, pretend I'd never seen it. But I couldn't. I grabbed my keys and drove to Mom's house, the note burning a hole in my pocket. Her car was there, but she wasn't home. I let myself in with my spare key, my heart pounding. On her dining table was a stack of brochures for a bed and breakfast in Aspen, a place we'd never been. There was a reservation confirmation, too, for next weekend, in Ethan's name. 4-2. My knees buckled. This wasn't a one-time thing. They were planning trips together, building a life behind my back. I drove home, numb, and waited for Ethan. He walked in around 6, whistling like everything was normal. I held up the note. "What's this?" My voice was shaking, but I didn't care. He froze, his eyes widening. "Lauren, I can explain," he started, but I cut him off. "Your spot? With my mom? Don't tell me." "How long, Ethan?" He sank into a chair, running a hand through his hair. "It's not what you think," he said, but his voice was weak, like he knew he was caught. I demanded the truth. He said it started a year ago after Mom helped him plan a surprise anniversary dinner for me. They'd spent hours together, talking, laughing, and it just happened. He said it was a mistake at first, but then it became something more. "She understands me," he said, and that cut deeper than anything. I asked if he loved her. He didn't answer, just stared at the floor. That was answer enough. I called Mom, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. She answered, cheerful as ever. "Lauren, honey, what's up?" I didn't ease into it. "I found your note. Your spot with Ethan. How could you do this?" There was a long silence, then a choked sob. "Oh, Lauren, I'm so sorry," she said. "I never meant for you to find out like this." "Find out like this?" "Not, I never meant for it to happen, but find out." I asked how long. "A year," she whispered. "Maybe more." I hung up, my chest tight, like I couldn't breathe. I told Ethan to leave. He begged, said he loved me, that he'd end it, but I couldn't look at him. He packed a bag and went to a friend's place. The house felt like a ghost town, every corner echoing with their betrayal. Mom showed up the next day, tears streaming down her face, begging to explain. I let her in, mostly because I needed to understand. She sat on my couch, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. She said she'd been lonely for years, that Ethan made her feel young, seen, alive. She said it started with innocent coffee dates, then dinners, then stolen moments she couldn't walk away from. "I'm your mother," she said, her voice breaking. I hate myself for this. I wanted to scream, to cry, but I just felt empty. "You were supposed to be my safe place," I said. She reached for me, but I backed away. I asked her to leave, and she did, her footsteps echoing in the hall. The weeks since have been a haze. I'm still in the house, but it's not home anymore. Every photo, every piece of furniture feels tainted. I've started looking for a new place, somewhere I can start fresh. My business keeps me sane, planning weddings, ironically, while my own marriage crumbles. My assistant, Jess, has been a lifeline, picking up slack when I'm too distracted, bringing me coffee and bad jokes to make me smile. She doesn't know the full story, but she knows enough to check on me. I've been digging, trying to understand the scope of their lies. I found an email on Ethan's laptop, one he forgot to log out of, confirming a weekend in Aspen last spring. I wasn't there. I found a receipt in Mom's house, tucked in a drawer, for a dinner for two at a fancy restaurant in Denver, dated my birthday last year. I'd spent that night working late, thinking Ethan was at a conference. They were together, celebrating without me. I even found a playlist on Ethan's phone, one he'd shared with Mom, full of songs we'd never listened to together. Every discovery is a new cut, a reminder of how deep this went. I've started therapy, working with a counselor named Dr. Harper, who's helping me navigate the wreckage. She says betrayal like this rewires how you see the world, but it's possible to rebuild. I'm not there yet. Some days, I'm furious at Ethan for breaking his vows, at Mom for crossing a line no mother should. Others, I'm just sad, mourning the life I thought I had. I keep asking myself how I missed it. Was I too wrapped up in work? Too trusting? Did I ignore the signs because I didn't want to see them? Dr. Harper says I'm not to blame, but it's hard to believe when I'm drowning in questions. I confronted Ethan again last week, at a park, somewhere neutral. He looked worn out, his eyes shadowed. He said he never meant to hurt me, that he got caught up in something he couldn't control. He said he's ended it with Mom, that he wants to fix us. I asked why he didn't stop sooner. He didn't have an answer. I asked if he loved her. I don't know, he said, and that broke something in me. I walked away, the wind stinging my face. Mom's been sending texts, emails, even a letter, begging for forgiveness. I haven't responded. I saw her at the grocery store last week, and she looked like a stranger, older, smaller, her eyes red. She tried to approach me, but I turned away. I miss her, but I don't know who she is anymore. Forgiveness feels like a mountain I'm not ready to climb. I'm leaning on Jess, on Dr. Harper, on my clients who don't know my world's been shattered. I'm trying to rebuild, one step at a time. Divorce papers are in a drawer, unopened. Part of me wants to believe Ethan can be the man I loved, but how do you trust again? As for Mom, I don't know if I'll ever be ready to talk. I'm sharing this because I need to let it out, to make sense of the pain. Maybe it'll help me heal. Maybe it'll reach someone who's been through this. If you faced a betrayal like this, how did you survive? How did you find the strength to start over? I'm listening because right now, I'm just trying to make it through.